Hello everyone, my name's Idiotic Synergy, and today we are having a look at a model that isn't from Necromunda. I know, big shock. Anyway, it's the Dominion Zephon model, which I really quite like. Yeah, I haven't covered this before. I just really like the model. The model looks fantastic. And also, though it's a Horus Heresy model, it is in plastic, so it isn't annoying to build, which is always good, and I really like the model. It's dynamic. Also, I like the fact that it is dual-wielding pistols. I mean, granted, it's Volkite, not Plasma. Ugh, I know it's getting old, but Plasma's better than Volkite. Fight me on this. It's just the truth. Plasma is better than Volkite. Because Volkite is vegan plasma. It's not fun. Anyway, I really like this model. I like the sword. I like the pose. It's really dynamic and really cool. I like how he isn't on a flying base though. So what they've done is they just attached him to a rock. I quite like that way of getting around using the old flying bases of just attaching things to rock. I cannot wait until they remake a giant flyer, but they attach it to a mountain, so that way it's not on a flying base. Oh dear, I do like the sword. The sword is rather nice, and yeah, it's a really good model. However, there are rules for it that we can have a look at. So, without a further ado, let's get into the rules of this, because it is a very nice model. Also, we can have a look at what it looks like from the top-down view. Ooh. I love the shoulder. I love the shoulder pad. The shoulder pad is really cool. I just like this shoulder pad. The shoulder pad is awesome. I like this era of Blood Angels because they just look really nice and regal and really cool. Anyway, let's get into the rules before I forget. So this is Dominion Zephon's rules. Also, Dominion Zephon is also known as the Bringer of Sorrow, the Exile, the Twice-Born, the Exarch of the High Host, which fancy titles, but you know, nothing can beat the knight from from the Orc game Blood, Teeth and Shooters, where the knight takes a good 30 seconds just going through his entire title while the orc falls asleep. Anyway, so these are his rules, and if you've never played Horus Heresy like me before, you probably might get confused as to why anybody would choose a model that has weapon skill 6 and ballistic skill 5. Well, let me explain. The way weapon skill works is similar to how wounding works in 9th edition. Basically, Dominion Zephon has weapon skill 6, as you can see, but if he's fighting someone with a weapon skill of 3, then that means it's 2 to hits. Similarly, if he ever comes across somebody with weapon skill 12, I don't know if there is anybody with weapon skill 12, then it's a 6 to hit because the defender has a higher weapon skill that's double than Zephon's, so it's sort of similar to how wounding works, and if he's fighting someone with the exact same weapon skill, then it's 4s, if it's slightly higher, then it's 5s, and if it's slightly lower, then it's 3s to hit. I hope I've explained it well enough. Ballistic skill 5, ballistic skill can go all the way to 10, so what does ballistic skill 5 means? Well, it means he just shoots on 2s, however you don't get a reroll. If it's ballistic skill 6, then it's still hitting on 2s. However, to reroll, he would need a 6. 7 to shoot. It's basically anything above 5. It's always shoot to 2. It's always 2 to shoot, I should say. But then if you miss, the rerolls get less until you get to weapon skill 10, where it's 2s to hit. And if you somehow miss, you can reroll, and then it's 2s to hit again. Unless there's some special rule. Anyway, strength and toughness 4, weapons skill, no, wounds 3, initiative 5, attacks 4, leadership 10, and a 2-up save, which is quite good. He's also got some quite fancy war gear. Artificer armor, his sword, his pistols, Lament and Grief, I've honestly spent far too long trying to say that without it sounding like lemon and grief, but I just can't. I can't talk today. Jump pack, Iron Halo. The jump pack and Iron Halo are obvious. Frag, crack, and rad grenades. I love rad grenades. What? I just imagine grenades with little sunglasses on them and like a skateboard. Like, out my way, dudes! Yeah, they just jump into battle. You throw one, and then the soundtrack to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater starts playing. Yeah. Oh dear, that I quite like the idea of like grenades with sunglasses on them. Like, yeah. Anyway, melter bombs. Sorry, I've spent too long just giggling my head off about rad grenades. I am a child. I do apologise. And special rules. I don't know what most of these are. They explain a couple of them, but I don't know what gunslinger is. But if it's similar to necromunda, then it just means that it's not -1 for him to dual wield. I hope I'm right on that. However, I could be hopelessly wrong. That's the only rule I sort of recognise, and that's from necromunda. So it could be something entirely different. So, warlord traits, sorry about that, I had a small coughing fit, quite unpleasant, but anyway, I'm fine now. So, Dominion Zephon has to take XR of the High Host, as stated up here. He has to take it rather than rolling randomly, and what this means is that he can be part of a Legion Destroyer squad, which is also considered a retinue squad, which does not take up a force organisation slot and is considered part of the same unit as Dominion Zephon. And also, they have to be deployed with him, and Dominion Zephon cannot voluntarily leave the retinue squad during play. And, yeah, they also gain the Special Warriors role. Unless this option is selected, no other unit may be selected for Dominion Zephon as using the part of the retinue special rule, and he may never join any other unit, so you have to take a Legion Destroyer squad if you so wish. Or, yeah, it says may, so I assume it's optional, though I could be wrong. The other rule that he has is Paragon of Restoration. The Paragon of Restoration gives Dominion Zephon a 5-up Feel No Pain. However, there's also one other thing that he can do, where when he loses his last wound, you can roll a d6 on a result of 4. He remains in play with a single wound. It's sort of like Gilliman's ability, only it's not d6 wounds remaining, or Helbrecht's route. Not, is it? No, it isn't Helbrecht. It's Grimaldus that has the rule where he can come back from the dead, isn't it? On a 4-up, he comes back with, I don't remember. I think it's like 3 wounds remaining or D3 wounds remaining. Anyway, it's quite good and quite useful. And finally, we get to his weapons. His weapons is the Spiritum Sanguis, which is a sword, so it doesn't really have any range. +1 to his strength. AP2, two-handed sweeping strike, which is described here. Basically, if he's in base-to-base contact with more than one enemy model at the initiative step, then they gain 1 attack. So, yeah, that's quite useful. And, hang on, they gain attack, so I assume it's him. And, no, that can't be right. It can't be the enemy as well. I just assume it's the model. It implies more than one. However, it does say if a model using a weapon with this special rule, so I assume there's many weapons with this special rule. Anyway, so Sweeping Strike, quite useful. You gain a +1 attack if you're attacking a horde, or more than one model. And then you have Lament and Grief, or Lemon and Grief, as I keep saying. Basically, range 10, strength 5, AP 5, 2 shots, deflagrate, and blind. Basically, you blind someone with your pistols. Which, I'm surprised you blind them. I mean, it's AP 5. I'm pretty sure blind doesn't mean melt, but hey-ho, it's Warhammer. You are blinded. You melted my face. Anyway, that's it for the rules. It's taken slightly longer because I had a coughing fit and then heartburn, so that was fun to deal with. But regardless, I've gone through the rules. I've got a feeling I've got some of them wrong, but that's okay. Someone will always let me know in the comments down below. So, I have been Idiotic Synergy, and I hope you have a good one. Stay safe, look after each other, and yeah, that's it. Bye for now.